Working caution with 60 laps to go. Paul Menard's car being pushed to the garage. Jeff Gordon and Mark Martin have made pit stops. We'll update those in a moment, but first, earlier today, Jeff Hammond filed this State Farm safety report.
NASCAR is about safety, and protecting the fans and the competitors is always number one. This is what they call a tether. It attaches the hood and the deck lid to the main frame of the car. And the reason for that is to keep it out of the grandstands and out of harm's way. Another thing they do is they worry about the tire and wheel assembly, so they came up for tethers to keep those attached to the car, and they're located here. All of these things are done with the idea of protecting the competitor as well as the fans in the stand.
Thanks, Jeff. Jimmy Johnson also came in on this caution, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. That's all four of the Hendrick cars in, among quite a few that have made pit stops. Let's get our first update from Steve Burns.
And Mike, listening to Alan Gustafson and Mark Martin, they really made a last-second decision to pit. They came in with their teammate, the 24, Jeff Gordon. Alan Gustafson saying, listen, with new tires, we're going to be okay. Mark was concerned about the rain, but Alan said, just trust me on this one.
All right, let's check with Matt.
And Mike, a lot of conversation back and forth on the team radio between Kevin Buskirk, the new crew chief on the 19, and driver Elliott Sadler. Here's some of that conversation.
As far as we can see here, this rainstorm is right on top of us.
That's just out of luck, Kevin. Welcome to the team. Showing rain on the radar and not on the racetrack.
Come on now, we've had tremendous amount of luck to get here where we're at right now. Don't be like that. We're good. Don't worry about it. We're good enough to run and win this race.
They also told him, and you know, when you get married, your luck automatically changes. And Elliott said, this is almost as fun as my wedding day. Remember, he got married January 17th to longtime girlfriend Amanda.
Kevin Buskirk, longtime Pennsylvania dirt track star up there before he came south.
But I loved what he told Elliott Sadler.
Yes.
Don't go there. We can win this race. I mean, he's sitting in there on the pit box. They've given the boy a car good enough to be up front leading this thing.
And the thing I stress, it's not like he and his teammate Reed Sorensen are way off sequence on when they were on pit road to change tires. They were just on pit road 2 laps before almost all the leaders were on pit road. But what I like about the Hendrick strategy, taking the weather out of the equation, is what they're doing. They're narrowing the number of laps that they have to run on their tires. They can now go 30 laps in 30 laps to get to the end of the race by making one more pit stop.
Plus all four of them together at the back, they can work together as well.
And now we see that strategy being played out up and down pit road. More and more teams are electing to come in on this caution. One thing I do like from those onboard camera views, no raindrops on the windshield. So that rain that is in the area and is a little bit west of Daytona International Speedway so far has only encroached on the track a little. Now, morning before yesterday, it rained hard for 45 seconds and it stopped. That's the way the weather is here in Central Florida sometimes.
I tell people all the time I love the Weather Channel. I know my buddy does. But if I lived off of that Weather Channel, I'd never go out of the house. And I'd probably never win another race.
But what does this race become, Larry? A series of shootouts?
Well, there's no question. We know that everyone will have to make at least one more pit stop. But what I'm seeing, you can see it brewing. You saw what was going on right before the halfway point of the race when everybody thought we were racing weather. I will guarantee you that's what we're preparing for is when we get to the last 10 laps, 3 and 4 wide, beating and banging on each other, and who knows who's going to win this thing.
Elliott Sadler is the leader. His car is owned by a new group, Richard Petty Motorsports. A part owner, the 7-time winner of the race, Richard Petty. The majority owner, George Gillette. And was that Tom Cruise? After driving the pace car, up on the pit box.
Up in Jeff Gordon's pits.
George Gillette, the majority owner of the lead car, spent the Saturday nights of his college career, of his college years, in the grandstand at the quarter-mile Riverside Park Speedway in Agawam, Mass. He's a lifelong lover of this sport. And right now, his car with Emporia, Virginia's Elliott Sadler leads Matt Kenseth, Reed Sorensen in another Petty car, A.J. Allmendinger in yet another, and Tony Stewart.
But what's great about Elliott Sadler leading this race with 58 laps to go, he was basically told in late December he would not be driving this 19 car in 2009. They worked through some things. They got back together. He was back in the car by mid-January, and here he is leading the Daytona 500.
Again, I just want to comment congratulate that crew chief down there for that little lecture he gave to Elliott. You drive that car, we can win this race. We heard the same thing from Steve Letarte to Jeff Gordon. Look, we know we got a little tire issue here, but we got to run this thing like it's the last run.
30 cars on the lead lap, and most of those 30 crew chiefs have just told their drivers, we can win this race.
And you know a car Darrell and I have been watching, and we were both talking during a commercial break. What is wrong with the 55 car, Michael Waltrip? And lo and behold here, 57 laps to go. The two-time Daytona 500 winner. He is showing up in the top 10 in the 9th spot.
You know, last time he won the 500, I think it rained. I think it rained shortened it.
2003.
Yeah.
Won it in 2001, our first race with NASCAR on Fox.
Tom Cruise is sitting down there. He says, man, I thought they only did this kind of racing in Days of Thunder. I didn't know they did it for real.
Cruise was introduced to the sport by one of his co-stars, Paul Newman, and like Newman, went racing sports cars, had a good time at it. And he said, then he came to Daytona with Rick Hendrick and said, I want to make a movie about this. And of course he did.
Now we just saw Jimmy Johnson in the 48 car stuck in the middle there. Now what the battle he's going up against right now is with Sam Hornish Jr. trying to be that first car a lap down.
Boy, the 43 and the 17. Whoopee.
Boy, Kevin Harvick got aggressive there to gain himself some racing room. And here comes Harv, the winner 2 years ago, up into 3rd place.
The man that started back in 38th position. This is a backup car, but it's a car that's been to victory lane here during Speed Weeks. Won the Budweiser shootout with that very car.
Elliott Sadler is challenged for the lead by Matt Kenseth and Kevin Harvick.
I believe these guys put a big old clock on their dash, and they wind her up, and it's supposed to hit midnight about the end of the race.
Now, if Matt Kenseth can bring them all the way back around and lead a lap. Oh, here we go.
There he goes.
Almirola goes off the nose of Casey Kane.
Hang on to her, brother.
Your brake. Brake there.
Man, it gets crowded back there. Goodness.
Caution's out.
Darrell, I think you were right.
In there, Doug.
I think somebody's glass slipper broke. Little damage to the right front corner of Kane's car. All right, first let's go back a lap and show you the contact between Reed Sorensen, 43, and Matt Kenseth, the 2nd and 3rd place cars.
Kenseth changes his mind. He was going to go inside, starts back outside, hits the left front of Reed's car in the 43 there, Reed Sorensen, and shot him up the hill.
But from the DirecTV blimp, now here is Almirola side by side with the number 2 of Kurt Busch.
He runs up on the back of
Yeah, what a stack up.
Yeah,
right
I mean,
there.
it's just they're just all wadded up right there. He gets hit from behind by
Sam Hornish.
Sam Hornish, shoots him to the left about the time that the 43 cars come along.
Or the Casey Kane,
the 9 cars come along.
Close quarters. Almirola's way on the outside. There he gets a boot from Hornish.
Yep.
And across he comes. That was very lucky not to be another 10-car pileup.
Now, Jimmy Johnson, the 48 car, did get the free pass. He's back on the lead lap.
The 8th caution flag of the night. Now, will anybody pit? We'll let you know in a minute.